Welcome back to Life Experiences with Dr. Amanda. Today we're going to talk about for my good. What is for my good? What is for your good? And I get this phrase from the scripture, and we know that all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are the called according to his purpose. That's Romans 8:28. And for many years, I really misunderstood this scripture because I took it out of context where it was in the chapter. It's one scripture that's within a whole chapter. And so I would pull that one scripture out, and kind of my thoughts were, it says all things are going to work together for my good. So for me, that meant that everything was going to be good. I didn't necessarily think that some of the things that would happen wouldn't be good, but they would work for my good. I didn't fully grasp that. But when you read the 8th chapter of Romans, before and after this verse, it actually talks about so many of the trials and the tribulations that we'll suffer through as Christians. And I'm not complaining, because whether we be saved or unsaved, we're going to have trials and tribulations. But we know when we're in the Lord and we suffer for being obedient, that he's going to get the glory out of it, and that's what our lives are about. So it wasn't so much that I didn't want to suffer. I just really didn't understand this scripture. And one of the scriptures that really in years past helped me to better understand Romans 8:28 that talks about all things working together for our good is Psalms 119 and 71. And in this scripture, David actually says that affliction is a good thing. In fact, Psalms 119 and 71, it says, "It is good for me that I have been afflicted, that I might learn thy statutes." And once again, this scripture started making sense to me once I started going through some things in life. When you think about it, really think about it. It is when we go through troubles that we learn our best spiritual and even life lessons. One trial that I went through some years ago, at the time, I went through it for about a year, but it was actually a trial that had started some years prior to, but the bulk of it happened, for a year. And I won't take a lot of time to go into it, but it dealt with jobs. I'm a hard worker. I've been working since I was 15 years old. And every job that I ever went on, it was like, my bosses, my coworkers always thought, oh, you're just, you're great at what you do. And I always got compliments. And this job that I got, it was just like it was a fight. Like I could not do anything right, And so for one thing, I knew I wasn't supposed to be there. But even without that, it just seems like nothing went right. And so I had to leave that job. But here's where the for my good came in. The afflictions of, after having to leave that job, being a person who was very independent, always had a job, the Lord showed me so many things about myself while I was not working. He showed me that there was this certain level of pride in me when I even took the job. It was kind of like, it's me, educated Amanda. I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to change this whole place, and I don't even know how they existed without me. And I didn't know that I thought like that. But the time that I had being off, I had to come to grips with some of the things that were in me. So he showed me pride, and I would not have known that had I not had to leave the job, had I not gone through that experience. Another thing he showed me was it's okay to be independent, but I didn't realize that I didn't have the kind of trust that a wife should have in their husband with my husband, because I was so independent. And being that when I didn't have the job, I totally had to depend on my husband for everything monetarily. And he loved that because, it really made a difference in our relationship. Not that we were having problems or anything, but it made us that much closer, So things that I looked at maybe in the wrong way, not maybe, that I looked at in the wrong way, because of having being put in that position of not having a job, the Lord brought out puffness being puffed up in me. He brought out pride in me. These were things that I never even thought they were something that were a part of me. So I can honestly say it was good for me that I was afflicted. And all things do work together for the good of those who love the Lord, because even through those things, it taught me to give God the glory through everything. It taught me that when I go through trials, He must get the glory out of them, or it's of no use. It's just like what the world does. It's just burdens that you go through for no reason. So I'm going to stop right there. Next time, I want to talk about being saved. So simply the topic, I'm saved and I know it. So please subscribe to the channel, share with others, and continue to keep God first and have a wonderful week. Stay blessed.